Yo, what is up? Will here with Canyon, and we are in another best ball draft on Underdog. If you guys want to do Underdog best ball drafts before the season starts, or you want to use Underdog throughout the NBA season for some player prop picks, we're going to be doing player prop stuff, probably on the Flock betting channel, but we'll do that throughout the entire season. That's honestly, alongside fantasy, player props night in and night out are one of my favorite parts of the NBA season. So we'll be doing that. If you want to get a 100% deposit match up to $100, minimum $10 deposit, use code CANYON. You see the little ticker going by right there. And in the description as well, there's a link that'll send you there. Yo, what's up, Renzi? I know it's the earlier message, Vinyl Guy 420. The video I didn't even know I needed, so behind on my basketball. It's all good. It's all good. It's what we're here for, right? We watch all the preseason games you don't want to for you, right? In Michigan, can't join or else I would. Hey, appreciate it. Yeah, we're one spot away here. This is going to be a 10 team, so it's going to be a little different from the 12 team one we did. I think it was a couple days ago. So teams will be a little bit better. Andres Laria, yo, what is up? How's it going? But yeah, I guess just overall best ball. I do want to say this. I know people look at best ball and kind of the obvious thing is you draft the riskier players, because best ball, you want to win the tournament, right? It makes sense a little bit, but I don't necessarily reach for, injury risk guys necessarily. I think it's pretty close to how I would draft in a normal points league for the most part, where later, just like I would in a normal draft, I'm reaching for upside a little bit versus just kind of consistency, especially with how the format works. You agree? Any major differences for you? If you're tell me normal points league draft versus best ball.
Yeah, I mean a difference in targeting upside, I guess.
Yeah. All right. Fifth overall ceilings. Here. I actually like the fifth spot. I don't mean to cut you off. Obviously, I think best ball. I want a top two, or a top three actually. I love the top three. I like Embiid too. But man, just give me a best ball team where I get to draft Jokic and then just wait for my next pick. But it'll be 10 team. All right, fifth spot here. Jokic, Giannis, Luka. For me, it's Embiid. And then are you a KD or Harden guy at 5 or somewhere else? I know.
I think I'm a Harden guy. I've been a Harden guy most of this off season. I've kind of been backing him more than most people, and I think I'm gonna keep riding that train. I think I'm gonna go Harden over KD. And I think in a best ball, I like that stance even more than just in league. I think I would maybe lean more towards Durant. I like Harden's potential to break out into 30-10 games more often than KD. I know he didn't score as much last year. He was very shy. One of the reasons we like Harden is because we think he's going to shoot the ball more than, I think it was 13 times a game last season.
Yeah.
So we're kind of planting our flag on that. I think the Sixers just got better in general. So I'm really excited about that team. So I do like Harden more.
Yeah. I think I know it's probably unpopular, especially in a best ball format, looking at what last season looked like. But man, it's hard for me to believe that Harden's not going to just average right around 10 assists and shoot more than he did last season, because I think both of those things are possible. All right, we see Jokic, Giannis, Luka. It's just that's going to happen in the first 3 picks, obviously. I would love Embiid. I mean, I know some of these best balls get a little weird. Yo, what's up? I'm picking at 15 tomorrow. Is it a 16 team league? Let's go Flock up. What's up? Yes, sir.
I was going to say, I just feel even more than normal, I feel there's a huge drop. I don't think I've ever really said this, but I think there's a huge drop 3 in any category or any format.
All right, there's Embiid. I don't dislike Tatum. I know we took him. What do we have? The 7th pick went with Tatum. I think.
Yep.
KD and Harden had went. I'm cool with going Harden here. I might have a slight KD lean, but I like these guys both a lot. I'm in the same boat of being fine with taking Harden early. I've got no worries there.
I've got a guy that's going to throw out. This wasn't such a short clock, we've kind of debated maybe going LeBron.
Okay.
Like if Russ comes off the bench all year, I think that could be really good for LeBron.
Yeah, I
I think
think.
in a best ball, it's
Yeah.
I think it's more risky, but if LeBron doesn't play more
Right.
than
And a lot of these guys too are going to have their injury concerns even in like the first 2 rounds. So I'm not even going to bring that up for a guy like LeBron. But yeah, I think LeBron's going to do this until he's 45. Just, put up solid stat lines.
Yeah.
So I think in a best ball, like I think potentially healthy AD, knock on wood, saying the phrase a healthy AD, maybe we won't see as crazy blow up games as we saw last season. He was scoring at, it looked like old LeBron. But still, yeah, I like LeBron. Well, let's go right here. Zelda here with the question. Yeah. 16 team league, deep league for sure. 15th pick. I think it'll look a lot different than what we're looking at the board. Were you about to say Hallie?
Yes, I think Hallie, if you could leave at the 15th pick with Halliburton, I don't care. We don't even know if it's category points or not. Any format, I think if it's Halliburton,
right, he'll probably go earlier. I imagine somebody takes him in a cat league. Yeah, is it points or category? I assume points, but I do want to ask because I think they're both pretty equally popular.
Yeah,
Tatum, KD, Ja, LeBron, pretty chalky.
Yep.
Honestly, this is looking. Other than Tatum going behind KD, this is honestly probably how I would draft the first round pretty much, especially with the LaMelo injury.
Yeah. But yeah, for Zelda, I think I would be ecstatic with Halliburton, right? He might not be there, like you said. It depends on, who's in his league and the site they're using for the rankings and stuff. I like Sabonis a lot too. I think Sabonis should be there at 15. I think that's a solid play. He kind of does it all, obviously, but he's also a center. Get early on, an elite center like that.
Yeah.
Or power forward, but what I mean, center eligible. Kawhi's risky, but could be nice. There's some guys. I would definitely go Halliburton if he's there. That's a smash play. I think if Sabonis is still there, it's a very good, safe but still elite play there.
Yeah. All right, Cat, Trey.
Yep. 5 picks to us. LaMelo's still there. People know their news.
Yeah. I don't know. Would you even take LaMelo with this 2-6 pick in a best ball league? In a best ball league, I actually am not super against him here. I don't love it. I'm not excited about it. But man, I guess with the guys that are around him, even with the breakout, it might not be worth it. Maybe I'm just getting too excited. For Keeper League, who should I pick out of these? I can only keep 2. Embiid, Harden, Luka, Ja. I mean, if there's no penalty, you just get to pick 2 guys to just have this year. And there's no kind of like long-term. I mean, it's just Luka and Embiid, right? It's not even.
That's, it's funny because that's my team for my Keeper League this year. Those are my choices. Yeah, you know what? I don't know. I think it's going to be Luka and Embiid. I'll give you a little sneak peek. It's Luka.
All right, we see Trey. LaMelo goes off the board. We don't have to make the decision. I don't think we would have. But in a best ball, I totally get it. With the injury, it's risky, obviously. In a tournament too, it's a little tough. This one is just, I think, between the 12 teams. In a tournament, it's tough because yeah, it's tough.
What's the case for Zion here?
I think the case is do you? I think it's Zion AD. I don't hate taking AD in a best ball, but you want to go Zion? You let me know who you going here.
Let's go Zion.
All right.
I'd much rather take the risk on Zion than take the risk on AD. I think AD
from an injury perspective.
Yeah, I think AD's probably got a slight nod as far as points perspective go. Yeah, he's got the nod, but I feel way better about. This is crazy to say. I feel better about Williams in crazy games.
I think the cool thing too is like, yes, I think you would say that from what we've seen from AD, but would you be surprised? Like, would you be really surprised if they both play a full season and they're like neck and neck in fantasy points?
If they're both playing a full season,
I mean,
and they're neck and neck, I would be surprised.
Full season is not going to happen. Like, let's just put that. Like, that's not going to happen.
If they
but
both play the same amount of
points
games.
per game. I think you give the nod to AD, but I think it's a realistic possibility. From what we've seen from Zion, man, I think Zion gets pretty underrated, especially in these best ball drafts.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think scoring wise, they're both pretty similar. Zion might have the slight edge. I think Anthony's got the rebounding edge, a defensive edge. The defensive edge is what's big, right? I mean, Anthony Davis give you so many defensive stats, which are going to just be such a bonus every. And then the scoring,
bonus.
He's got the scoring to he's got the scoring to help out during that. I mean, Zion, I think, has more potential to give you a 30 bomb every other night or whatever. But
yeah,
it's the 3 blocks that you could just 3, 4, 5 blocks get that are crazy.
Yeah,
he's still there.
I'm not worried about the injury right now. Yeah,
DeRozan, Siakam, and DeJounte before him, so a lot of people are just scared of him. Which bam, look at that.
I'm taking it 100% if he's.
Oh yeah, if he's there.
I mean, it's not even a question. He probably goes here. I really don't see AD falling this far. I know he's dealing with. There's been some he's whatever.
Oh.
There's nothing. Can you Google Anthony Davis right now? Is there something I don't know? Like I know that he's had some rest games for the Lakers with tightness, but it's been just
No, take him. I mean, he's dealing with an injury again. He's all against Sacramento.
Will return versus Warriors. Yeah, it's just look at the names I'm picking from. I like some of these guys, but it's in a best ball format specifically.
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown. I like Cade, but Cade versus AD. Points per game basis, it's just insane. I get the risk, right? Obvious.
I love that pocket here.
Oh, and right here's what I do in a best ball league, especially with how Underdog is set up. So I know we took a ton of bigs in the last one. You only have to play one big and you get flexes. I don't think we have to worry about bigs for a minute. I think we go guards, wings for a while, and then we could take some later, obviously. What's best ball mean? Yeah, so best ball is kind of weird. We're going to draft pretty similar that we would for a normal points league, but the way best ball is set up is it's more of a tournament base, and there's no waivers. You're not setting rosters. It's your players and the points they score, and it's week 1 through 16. Top teams enter it's kind of more tournament based. So then those teams are then competing against each other in the next set of weeks. So really, when we talk about best ball, the lean is usually towards upside, right? Because it's usually best ball is best case scenario is usually where you're leaning towards. Obviously, you still want to consider injury because also worst case can happen, right? So AD misses the whole year. My best ball team's not doing anything. But if AD's healthier than he's been in previous years, I'm looking really good, especially at the 25th overall pick.
Yeah.
Before we get to our next pick, what's up? Is it better to target guards or bigs in a category league? Kenny, you want to take this one? I know we talked about this in our most recent category tips video that's live now, if you want to check that out. Sir. But Kenny will give you the short form right here.
Yeah, I mean, nice thing about category league is you can kind of make the roster how you want to kind of monopolize those best of 9 or 8 or whatever you do for categories. I think it's better to target bigs early and guards late because I think there are very few elite bigs. And so if you can nab one of them early, you can kind of set yourself up well there. And on the other side of that, there's not a lot of good bigs late. You're going to be scrambling to find some guys that are going to get you good usage and good stats in the late of drafts that are bigs. Whereas I think there's a lot of good value in guards late, whether it be rookies or Trey Jones is already flying up boards for the Spurs and Jordan Clarkson's of the world. There's just so many guards that can get you way more minutes and usage late in drafts versus the bigs. So you don't want to go guard heavy too much and then find out that you need a big and then you're at the end of the draft and you're kind of screwed. So I would go bigs early. And then if you want to go that route, it kind of depends on your first couple picks.
Yeah, so strategy is pretty important too to the conversation because we're not saying don't draft guards early. It needs to be a big. It's more of a tiebreaker thing, and obviously you're kind of setting the tone for your team with the first couple picks. So you have to really consider what kind of team you're building based off the bigs you take early if you do take them. I think what we're saying with guards late is if you just look down ADP and where your site rankings are at, there's a lot of guards where I could see them outperforming expectations more than the bigs that are down there, right? So 100%. Guys you mentioned Clarkson. Clarkson goes really late. Would you be shocked if hey, they don't move Clarkson and the team is just Clarkson's a heavy rotation guy and gets to do his like Clarkson rotational minute thing, but without Donovan Mitchell, where he's just like shooting a ton, scoring a ton.
Just 20 a game at least.
Right. Yeah. Like that wouldn't be crazy. Like I don't think that's necessarily like a lock to happen, but for me it's, you look at the bigs, it's harder to make cases for guys vastly outperforming expectations, especially later.
Yeah.
All right, so right here, last couple picks, Shea, who I'm happy Shea was off the board. I don't hate Shea, but I just get really scared about the injury.
We have enough injury guys on our team right now.
Yeah, right. Rudy goes. I'm happy Rudy went too because we're not going big here. We've got Beal.
I like Beal a lot.
Love Beal.
I like Fox a lot too.
Yeah, I'd be cool with either of those guards. I think like I'm not stressed about taking a wing. All right, so Beal goes. BI looks really good. I love
play
BI, but
Zion.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I don't hate two guys in the same team, but I don't want to do it. Got Giddy. I think I just want to go Fox.
Fox or Garland, I think are maybe the best two available for me. I don't love the wings here. Let's go Fox.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm starting to move Garland up. I know we talked about some riser guy between Sabonis and Gobert. Who would you pair with Giannis in a cat league?
Ooh, I would go Sabonis. I like Sabonis more. I think he's more versatile for cat leagues.
Yeah.
He gets you more, assists, better free throw shooting, probably more points, and the rebounds are pretty competitive even with Gobert. I mean, Gobert's in a new situation, right? So it's interesting to see how he'll actually pan out. But I like Sabonis over Gobert personally, and with that, you can end up going more guard heavy if you want to kind of dominate assists instead of other categories. I think he kind of fills out a lot of.
Yeah,
he's like I mentioned this once. He's like he's like a baby Jokic. I don't want to say that and like try to hype him up too much, but like you know what I mean. Like he's like Jokic, but bring every stat down a little, like turn the dial down on all the stats.
Right.
Very good.
Are you
great rebounder, great scorer?
I don't think you're worried about this necessarily because the things that Sabonis does that Gobert doesn't do, he's still gonna do with Murray. But man, Murray's looked pretty good. Is there any part of you that like is not worried about Sabonis? Like I don't think Sabonis is gonna like drop off too far from what we saw last season with the Kings. But is there any part of you that's like, I mean, maybe Murray usage is a lot higher than we're anticipating even as a rookie?
No, I'm not worried. I think it can be a nice help. I think it can help with his assists. It spaces the floor really well for him, so he can kind of dominate and isolate down low because Murray can stretch the floor. Murray showed that he's been improving his post game and he's pretty good down low. But I think for the most part, I think Sabonis can. Really
they do different things for sure.
Yeah. I think they can play off each other really well.
Okay, so I got here. What's up, Oliver? I'm picking at 5 and find myself choosing between KD and Harden. However, as a Warriors fan, I want to reach for Curry. Is this a dumb move? I think here's my thing. We've talked about this, right? Obviously, I have KD and Harden above Steph. I assume you're talking points. I have them significantly for a decent amount, but I don't think Steph is like terrible. I think here's the thing. I think it's like enough of a tier break where I would say like if you want to win this league, I wouldn't do it.
Right.
Okay, real quick, we got the pick up here, and then we'll go back. Really wanted to go Giddy there. Scotty, I don't love. We got our first rookie we can reach for. I don't really like the spot because I want to go wing.
I don't either.
But I don't like any of the wings.
I don't hate Barnes as much as you might hate Barnes.
Oh no, I don't dislike Barnes.
Chris Paul also is very interesting. I like Chris Paul a lot for best ball.
Let's go Barnes here, just off of taking a wing. I know he was like dealing with the ankle injury. I'm not worried about it. A nice thing with Barnes is second year, always kind of like the breakout potential. He looked really good too. And Toronto, man, those starters. Give me 36 minutes a night, please.
Yep, thank you for that. For going back to Oliver though, I would go KD or Harden. If you want to go Curry, you're kind of setting yourself back a little bit probably in like a points league. You're not throwing, right? You're not going to
see if you can trade. See if you can swap picks with a spot where Curry's going to be, because the thing with NBA, I think even more than potentially like a fantasy football, is there's pretty big tier breaks for players. So what happens is if you take a Curry at 5, your wraparound, depending on how many teams are there, like you're missing out on a lot of really good players. So you could pair Curry with someone, and maybe it's not. You're moving all the way back to like the end of the first where like you think you would still be, but just to a spot where you're able to still get Curry and you're not like, missing out on a chance of getting a guy like, I don't know, Ja, or we like Halliburton a lot, versus having to take somebody later. Yeah, for sure.
And if it's a 9-cat league, I don't hate it nearly as much.
Oh, is it cat? Yeah, I actually.
I'm just saying, we don't know. So if it's 9-cat, like I don't hate it nearly as much. Free throws, boom, threes, amazing.
Yeah.
Assists, solid. Points, great. I like it for a 9-cat. It's still kind of a reach, but it's not it's not as bad as in a points league.
Yeah, and Curry's a really fun. Curry's a fun guy to draft a team around. For like a category league, just because of like what he gives you at that spot. The threes obviously, and still really good scoring too. Ben Simmons looks good besides fouling out. Yeah, I do think I will say Ben has looked better. I know all the memes, you'll see the videos of him airballing a shot, but it's like, dude, Ben Simmons doesn't need to shoot super well to from mid range, or obviously not three. He doesn't need to shoot well in a points league from the free throw line, from mid range, to be an effective points guy, even with KD and Harden. Like, I think they make other players better because they've both shown, especially last year, we saw like KD passing like really well. I mean, look at the games Bruce Brown had. You're telling me Ben Simmons can't have those kind of games? And obviously like really good rebounding as a guard too.
Yeah, no, I think Ben Simmons could be a huge sleeper. I think people, especially like in your friend groups stuff, because of all this meme culture, I think he can drop a lot in some drafts.
I think we should have talked about Ben Simmons at that Scotty pick. Like, I think he should have been in the conversation. I will.
Yeah, I saw him. I thought I kind of wanted the wing, and I was looking down even more at these wings, and I just really don't want to get stuck.
Right, because what happens is exactly, you get to this point, and you're looking at like, if we don't get Banchero, and we're looking at, hey, are we taking like Andrew Wiggins or Toby versus these other guards who we like a lot, like neck and neck with Maxey, who I like a decent amount. Brunson in a best ball league.
Brunson's interesting. Jamal Murray is interesting in the best ball as well.
Yeah, definitely.
We got 2 picks left to us. We're thinking probably guard, one of those guards here.
I honestly could talk myself into taking Banchero if he was there. But I might be, I know you hate it, and I get it, dude. Rookies for the most part are way worse.
I think
than expectations initially.
Yeah. My worry is that in the best, right. You say best ball. It's like, okay, Banchero pops off for a game. I think where his ADP is right now, I think it's like assuming that he is like 18.
Yeah. You have to put him up. All right. We don't have to make the decision. All right, cool.
Let's shut up about
it. This is tough. I'm not super excited about RJ Barrett. I think Jamal Murray's. I think Jalen Green's really fun.
He is a fun best ball pick.
It's a little too early for Christian Wood. I'm kind of looking down here at the bigs for Wood and Val. I don't love.
Kind of like Brunson.
Yeah, Max, dude. Brunson's looked. Oh, okay. We went RJ Barrett.
Right. Oh shoot, I wasn't mentioning.
It's okay.
All right, well, we need a wing.
Actually, I love Barrett there. Get the wing spot filled out. No,
hey,
it probably would have been. It probably would have been Brunson. I think what will happen. I know people are trying to plant their flags on like, Randall's going too early. It's Brunson's the undervalued. Like, I think a lot of what we saw in the preseason will happen, where all 3 of these guys. Most of the time, 2 of them are going to have really good nights. One of them will have an okay night. Like, it's not crazy that like those 3 guys can put up similar numbers to, what we're seeing in the preseason and what we saw from Randall and Barrett last season. So I'm kind of like, I'm not in love with Barrett from like an upside perspective. That's why I didn't like want to take him there. But I think he can be okay in points. Yeah. I'm kind of doing some copium right now.
Yeah, I was just going to let you do your thing, man.
With the
pick. All right. You don't have to love it.
There's a lot more fun picks, man. I would have rather had Murray. Honestly, I would have rather had Maxey. Maxey, Green, Murray.
I do like him more than Toby and Kuzma, though.
True.
There's a bright side, I guess.
True. All right, we're pretty open here. We can kind of do whatever. I think this is kind of an interesting spot for the bigs. But I like
bigs actually.
Yeah, but we're pretty open. I think we might still be able to get one of those guys. I think I might have just jinxed myself.
I don't know what it is, but I still really like Nurkic. He's falling on boards. He's very low. I really like Nurkic based on where he's going in drafts. I know like people are probably concerned about them bringing Grant and all these different bench players, and
there's a lot of scorers on that team, and I think that's what people hang their hats on, right?
Yeah.
You look at it,
but
and
he doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't need it. Like he doesn't. If he can give me 12 to 14 a game, he's a great rebounder. He's a very good passer, honestly.
All right, let's have this. It's 25 seconds. I'm gonna put two names on the board. I know you like Nurk. I'm gonna put Jalen Green up against him. I think Houston's tough. They're fun. I know you don't like Jalen Green. You're a Cade boy.
I like Jalen Green as far as fantasy.
All right, you pick the pick.
Nurkic.
All right. I probably would have gone Green there in a best ball specifically. Kind of like the way this league is set up where you only have to play a big. But I think from a fantasy perspective, I do think Nurkic is a little undervalued in just points league drafts in general. Because I think people tend to look at, you got Grant there, Anthony Simons breakout, they're starting Hart, who looked really good last season, and Dame. Where does Nurkic fit scoring? And it's just kind of like, he doesn't need to, have these crazy games like we saw last season. Not crazy, but like he doesn't need to like score a ton or be a huge focal point to be valuable, especially at this point in drafts. Because I think where you have Nurkic and I expect his production to be, it's like kind of where I expect, a Sengun or Christian Wood with Luka to be at, right? So it's kind of like,
yeah, I think the reason I still like Nurkic more than most people is I don't think he needs the ball in his hands on offense to get you a lot of value as far as in a points league. Like Jalen Green in a best ball points league, he's going to have those pop-off games for 30 points, which he'll have. We've seen it already last.
Yeah.
But like assist numbers, just not there. Defense, really just not there. Like the threes and the points are there, and that's in a points format. Like that's kind of the last stat you're looking for. Whereas Nurkic can give me 12, 12, 4, some defensive stats, and that already outdoes a 30.
Yeah.
So,
and I do think Houston's a fun team for best ball. I know a lot of people are taking Jalen Green early, even in points league drafts. Jalen Green, KPJ, from what we saw at the end of last season. You've got Jabari there, obviously. Tari Eason's looked really good. I think they're going to be a fun team, but I don't think Green and KPJ are going to do consistently what we saw last season when Christian Wood wasn't playing, right? And it was just them, right? They had shut down. They shut down Gordon. They shut down Christian Wood. Like it was just the Jalen Green KPJ show. Like I don't think Jalen Green's just going to make 6 threes a night like we saw for a hot stretch.
He's going to have to step up the assist game, and if he does, then he's a lot more valuable in a points league because we know he can score, obviously. So it's left to be seen for that. One last thing I'll get in just to jab at Jeremy Grant. He's a terrible rebounder, so that leaves a lot of Nurkic rebounds. So one thing I know from watching Jeremy Grant for the Pistons is he sucks at rebounding. So I'm okay with that.
That's true.
With the floor.
He's got to save his energy to catch the ball at the wing and
turn around jumper.
Yeah. All right, looking ahead a little bit on the board here, names that are interesting to me. Sexton, a guy who I was super, super high on. I think this is like a fine spot for him. I'm kind of more interested in some of these wings down here.
Okay. Yeah. I like Wagner. I like Keegan
Wagner.
Murray. I like Jabari Smith. I do like Harrow a lot too. Actually, I like Pirtle. I like a lot of these guys here.
Yeah. I think Pirtle's probably off just because we have 3 bigs already. Just kind of the way the format's set up.
I'll take out Wagner. I like Wagner, but we'll take him out for now. I like both those Houston guys still. I like Harrow and I like Murray. I think I'll probably go Jabari Smith over Keegan Murray though. In a best ball as far as rookies go.
Yeah, we have De'Aaron Fox where, I think Fox will have a better assist season than we saw last season.
Well, there goes KPJ.
There's KPJ. For me, it's probably Jabari, Wagner, Keegan, Pirtle, maybe Sexton. Do you want to go Jabari?
Okay,
best ball.
Go Jabari.
I think the fun thing about Jabari at this pick is like, I know last draft we had a ton of just like crazy risky upside. I think the beginning of this draft feels pretty safe
Yeah,
And
it is very
obviously
different.
Harden, but it's like De'Aaron
Barring any
Fox.
injuries.
Yeah, I mean injuries, but I think from a night in, night out fantasy points per game standpoint, who are your favorite rookie recommendations and second year players?
Mm,
Yeah,
mm,
I think the
mm.
top four.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think the top four. Not
5, 4.
yeah. I think I really, if someone's asking me a question, I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say five. I'm in the five camp. Sorry, I meant to say five. I'm in the five camp for sure. I think they're in drafts, it's where they're going. I think Jaden Ivey, who is probably the odd man out when people are talking about fantasy for this season, just because he feels pretty raw, right? He feels kind of more like year 2, year 3, we'll get to see it. I've seen enough. I'm fine, taking a later Jaden Ivey pick. I think he's looked really good. But yeah,
Yeah,
obviously Banchero's already going super high in drafts. Obviously, you see here best ball.
yeah.
They're going pretty high, I guess. Obviously, so we would say those top five, just the way they're drafted. I think that's kind of fantasy production what I expect. Um,
I like Jabari Smith probably over Banchero based on ADP.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I
Naturally, I
like
think if I have to guess, like fantasy points per game at the end of the season, it's probably I hate it. It's probably going to be Banchero. I want to say Jabari Keegan, but it's probably just going to
yeah,
be Banchero, Keegan, um, Jabari,
Jabari.
Ivy. But yeah,
Yeah,
Judge says it right there. Jaden Ivey's so exposed. Reminds me of Ja. I know everyone not laughed at those comparisons, because Ja's just been amazing. But dude, Ivy, he's shown it, man, and against starters. Like it's not like he's just like rotational guy. Like he's starting.
yeah. We're up
Wagner,
here. I think I think there's a
Wagner. No,
pick.
I'm saying names. Wagner, Keegan. I know Pirtle's still here. I do like Pirtle a lot. Markkinen's interesting. We got Trey Jones. I like a
Yeah,
ton.
is it not Trey Jones? We need a third guard. I like Trey
Yeah,
Jones a lot.
I do. I think it's a. I don't want to say it's a reach, I guess, because I don't think any of those wings were like, how can you pass on Wagner? How can you pass on Murray? I like them, but I don't think they're like can't miss players. Trey Jones is just one of those guys, man. I say this all the time. We've had a lot of videos where I've talked about Trey Jones. He is just what we've seen without Murray. He's young, man. I think this Spurs team, I mean, Pop's already said it. He just wants to develop these guys, and I think Trey Jones is just going to have such an opportunity. If the shooting efficiency increases, he's a little better from three. But even without that, man, I think he can just be a 7-8 assist guy. Like we saw that he averaged that in full
Yeah,
games without Murray.
yeah.
I think he can do that
Make
for
a
a
good
team that has a
difference
ton
with
of
that.
usage up for grabs. Thoughts on
Yeah,
Darren Jackson Jr. be a reach at pick 90? I think so, just from the
yeah,
perspective of the injury and the timeline. And you have to assume worst case, because think about the opportunity cost of the player you're not drafting at 90 because you took Jaren Jackson. Even if you have an IR spot, you're just missing out on so much. And I know there's like a timeline that's like pretty long. Like, hey, he could be back by November. It could be December. Like that's where the timeline's at, right? I think that's where I've last heard.
yeah.
You just can't assume the best with injuries because, dude, if you've played NBA fantasy for any amount of time, you know that more often than not, it's not the best case scenario as far as a return.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You just
Heck
have
no,
to.
week
Yeah,
or
so
two.
I think it is. Yo, what is up, Blue? Join the Chud League 9-cat Roto 12 team. Drafts October 16th, 10 p.m. All right, reach out to my boy Blue if you want to join the Chud League.
League.
I'm in a decent amount of leagues. I'm not trying to stand you up live on stream right now. Oh yeah, I know I had Zion last year. Yeah. It's tough. I think injury concern is such a tough thing in fantasy because it's gonna hit you. It hits everyone in some capacity, right? And obviously
Yeah.
it like kills people that took, their jaw super early, who missed a significant stretch, or AD obviously, or Zion. But dude, when you're in a draft and you get AD at pick 25 in a best ball league, that's when the injury concern is like, hey, you know what? Give me that for what AD's going to give me when he's healthy. I think it's more of a tiebreaker. We talked about that in our draft strategy video. That'll be up soon.
Alexander also said second year players, favorite recommendations for second year players. Obviously, we
Yes.
love Cade. We're also biased. He's also the highest ADP,
Right.
so he's kind of at a premium.
Who's your favorite at ADP? Give me your like favorite at ADP second year guys.
Maybe it's with all the Thunder news, maybe Giddy.
I
Giddy,
think Giddy,
hate.
if he's going as
Jalen
late,
Green's a good one too.
yeah,
He's going pretty late.
I'm really excited about Giddy. A little bit of a nod to like the fear with the Shea news a little bit, but like Chet out for the season. I think Giddy has shown enough that like you feel pretty good about like a little bit of a second year breakout and him being a pretty consistent fantasy guy. I think, Cade obviously is going really early, so it's tough to say Cade at ADP, and I know he hasn't looked great in preseason, but if Cade falls in your drafts because people are worried about preseason, Cade, take
advantage of that.
I will, yes, okay, you're looking at the preseason. Hey, let me just watch the last 30 games of Cade's first rookie year, he's on the board.
Yeah.
It can't be Jaden Ivey. Am I allowed to take Jaden Ivey here? You're going to tell me no, right?
There's another guy that I like
Gordon
more.
Hayward. Is it Gordon Hayward? I know you like Draymond a lot.
I also really like Jalen Smith there.
Yeah.
Is that a reach?
I think my picks here, it's Ivy. Personal. I love Ivy. I'm willing to reach for him. It's Ivy. It's Gordon Hayward. I think Jalen Smith, I do like a decent amount. Marcus Smart goes off the board. All right, give me three that I get to pick from. I'll let you narrow it down, and then I'll make the choice.
All right. Gordon Hayward, Jalen Smith, Jaden Ivey.
Oh, you put him in there.
Just do it. Yeah.
All right, it's Hayward. It's Hayward or Ivy for me. I'm pretty excited about Hayward, especially with the Lamelo.
Don't take Hayward over Ivy.
All right.
Come on, we gotta be with the homeboys here.
All right, it probably wasn't the smart pick, just because like you have to feel pretty good about what Hayward should look like this season. But man, Ivy's looked so good. All the stuff that I was kind of worried about, like, okay, some turnover stuff, like that'll happen just with any young player. But man, he's just looked so explosive offensively. And dude, he might not be like a 90% free throw shooter through the season, but he shot amazing from the line, man. I'm pretty pumped about it. I see, Nicholas here talking about Evan Mobley. I did want to talk about him as far as an at ADP year 2 guy, because Mobley's outcomes are, a small improvement on what we saw last season, and like stud gonna move up 2-3 rounds because, he shot the ball a lot better, was more aggressive offensively, was able to rebound, a little bit better than what he did last season. Kind of got rebounded by Jared Allen a lot. But someone offered me a fantasy trade where I get Evan Mobley and Jalen Green, but I give out Jimmy Butler and Tobias Harris. Do I accept the trade, yes or no?
Is it a points league or a category league?
Yeah, let us know that. See, this is the nice thing, too, with taking an Ivy there. He would have been off the board, and we'll still get to get one of your guys.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully we do get Jalen Smith. He's definitely my pick here.
Yeah.
I mean, you just look at the guys that are around here. Who excites you from an upside perspective, right?
Oh, my God.
John Wall's insanely risky. Al Horford is 67 years old. Brogdon is in,
limbo.
Nice. All right, it's Smith, right?
Yeah, it's Jalen Smith. Points league.
Yeah, the Draymond is kind of fun in a best ball, just from the perspective of like he has those crazy defensive stat games. But yeah, we already have 3 picks, so I'm fine with it.
I was really hoping he was going to say category. Man, Jimmy Butler. I really like Jimmy Butler, but I really don't like Toby, so that's why this is so fun.
I think. Does any part of you like it shouldn't? I don't know. Like, okay, so Jimmy Butler's the best player in the deal, right?
Yeah.
Pretty obviously, I think. And usually in those deals, I am just take the best player, right? That's kind of where I stand. It's kind of like a fantasy football thing too. I think in fantasy basketball as well. But man, I'm really down on Tobias Harris. But would you be shocked if Tobias Harris is close to Jalen Green Like, will that stun you
Like points wise,
in like a points format?
I
He's
think if
still gonna
yeah,
play. He's still gonna have decent rebounding numbers. He's still gonna have decent scoring games. Like, I like Maxey a lot more. I know they're going pretty
right.
close to each other in drafts. I think Maxey's gonna have huge breakout. He's gonna be the third scoring option. But yeah,
Yeah, I think in a points league, I don't. I think you keep Jimmy.
yeah. I think it's Jimmy and Toby. Just because you have to project. I think you have to project too much for Mobley and Jalen Green. If it's like a dynasty keeper, I would make that move
Oh yeah.
just
Oh
off the
yeah.
potential of like if this is a long term thing, because Toby's just going down for me, and obviously Jalen Green and Evan Mobley could be close to Jimmy in like 3 years. Not close, but
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, if it's dynasty, it's a no brainer. But
Oh yeah, right, or just some kind of keeper thing. Renzi, it looks like we got a fantasy football question. You accepting Najee and Waddle for Gabe? I assume that's Gabe Davis and Kenneth Walker. I
Najee's
don't know
just
how
getting
you could
back.
be excited. It's like Najee, dude. This trade before the season is like insane.
Yeah.
You
Right.
know, I do think Tua or Teddy will be back next week, so I'm like not as worried about Waddle as I feel like a lot of people are after the past couple weeks. Oh man,
They're talking about Najee's plate getting taken out of his shoe, meaning like he's 100%.
I tend to. Did they? Does that also? Did the offensive line get the blades taken out of their shoes?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
They got blades taken out of their shoulder pads. They can.
They replace them with traffic cones
Okay.
because they do the same
Oh
thing.
man, I
Yeah.
I think it's a tough one because I think there's a world where Seattle uses DJ Dallas more than you want them to, but I think Kenneth Walker is a better talent than Rashad Penny, even right now, and so I think Seattle's looked good, man. I actually might make that trade. I have Brees and Pierce. So I don't know if I think you keep the better receiver there if you have Brees and Pierce and feel good at running back. That's my opinion.
Jack Andrews says Tyrese Halliburton at 8, too high. Well, I mean, we're both really high in Halliburton.
Category. Even other experts would tell you no. Straight up.
Correct.
Other experts would say Hallie's fine as a first round pick. A lot of people would tell you that's way too high in a points league. I wouldn't take him there, even though I love Hallie, but I don't think it's too high. I like Hallie a lot.
Yeah, I agree. Category, great. Points league, preferably not, but
yeah. I guess if you're taking anything away from this, we are probably higher on Tyrese Halliburton in a points league than your, other fantasy NBA people. And I would go elsewhere at 8. I like Ja more. All right, pick here real quick. We can do whatever we want. We're 4-4-3. I don't like Robert Williams with the injury. Ben Matherin's here.
I like there, but we already went Ivy and Jabari. Maybe a lot of rookies too, but okay.
Do you like? Yeah, but is it like Hunter Barnes? Like nobody excites me here really. Scroll down a little bit. So Primo. Yeah, I'm gonna best ball pull the trigger. I don't think we got Matt. Oh man,
that's so quick.
All
right, we'll stash him for about 4 months. Honestly, I tell you what, that's a big brain long term play right there.
Honestly,
we don't need him.
I do love our bigs. I do like our bigs a lot. All right, it's Zion and AD stay healthy until Robert Williams is back. That's the strat. Then you guys, hey Zion, hey wear the same shoes you've been wearing. All good, man. Yeah. AD, take your nights off, bro. It's all good.
Just one of you three, just stay alive.
Yeah,
please.
We will have to see if Jalen Green can any stats on them points. Yeah, that's the biggest thing for me with like Green from a fantasy perspective. It's one thing to project a player to be a more efficient scorer, but like the evolution of a player's game, even from the rookie season, I know like players can improve upon these kind of things, but I just didn't see anything that excited me from he's a guard who could get you, 5-6 assists on top of scoring. Like I didn't see it. He is shooting or he is at the rim, and it's just It's,
and what doesn't help is how much we saw KPJ be that facilitator, bring the ball up, and really show how he can handle the ball and provide
Yeah.
assists from a fantasy perspective. That's
Um,
kind of
I'm
concerning
gonna I'm
because
gonna
he's
interrupt you
really
real quick
great.
just because we're on
Yep.
the clock. DeAndre
Highly fan.
Hunter, Cam Johnson starting for Phoenix.
Ooh,
Primo T, Davion DeSumo, Conley's gonna sit some back to backs,
I like
but
some of these guys out here. Go back up to the top real quick.
yeah.
We got 5 seconds here, but
You like Hunter, Cam
um,
Johnson?
yeah, go for it. Just want to get
Yeah.
a pick.
Yeah. Just wanted it. I guess it would have auto picked. I could have looked somewhere else, but
I was gonna yell a name at you,
I
but I
think
didn't
Lou
have
Dort. Were
the
you gonna yell Lou
confidence.
Dort at me?
I was gonna yell Ludor or Herb Jones,
Okay, yeah.
but
I don't hate. I probably would have gone there.
Hunter
Uh,
is an interesting one. You know,
yeah. The pick
he's
probably
still
wouldn't have been
above it.
Hunter
But
if I didn't have
no,
PTSD from picking Robert Williams auto picked on the last one. Yeah, I was thinking Cam Johnson. I think Conley's really interesting. Um,
yeah,
he's
I
probably
mean
gonna
that whole
rest.
team
He's
is
probably gonna
great.
rest some back to backs. Um,
Yeah,
he
I think
could
they
be.
have some of the most back to backs right away out of the gate out of any NBA team.
Yeah.
I think they have four
Um,
back to backs in the first month or two.
we're getting pretty close to end of the draft here, so we'll have three
Great
more
stuff.
picks we can make.
Okay,
Here's the board.
and we've got
So
what's our
I'm not
first
gonna move our
one?
cams because you can kind of still see.
454. All right.
Honestly, I probably would have if I had that pick over. I probably would have taken Cam Johnson just from the perspective of like I feel pretty safe about a lot of our guards and wings too. Um,
Yeah, I feel better about his usage as well, night in, night out, than Hunter's,
yeah,
especially
yeah,
with DeJounte there. But
I think Hunter is one of those guys where like I like him, but yeah, I agree. I think from an upside perspective, I think the other guys were more interesting.
yeah, I think Cam Johnson just gets on the sheet a bit more consistently. Um,
Yeah, and
so
I mean, he is one of those guys too, where like I don't know. I think it's realistic that the stars align where it's Chris Paul, what we saw last season, like is more indicative of what we're gonna see from Chris Paul, where it's not shooting as much.
yeah,
Um, obviously it's
Terrence is
still gonna run through the book.
Conley, Cam Johnson, or Jalen Williams. Yeah, I mean, we probably would have gone Cam Johnson. Just that timer ticks down quick on you when we're saying
Uh, yeah. How did you like Jalen?
Yeah, I like. So this is. I was going to mention this about Giddy way back. Was I'm just a little worried about. I have no idea how that second unit's going to shape out. They have a lot of guys from the wings and up
Yeah.
that are young and can get different minutes. So Giddy is nice because it's like I think he's solidified in that guard role, and I think the young guys, if anything, there's not guards that are going to compete with his time. Trey Man's good too, but I think
Yeah.
as far as wings and forwards go, you've got Poku, you've got Jiang, you've got Jalen Williams, you got Dort, I think there's a lot more competition and spread out minutes from the wing and up, whereas the guards, I think, not only is Giddy obviously already solidified as, a great player on that team in the backcourt, or backcourt, but
Yeah.
I think there's less competition for the young guys. I get worried about it feels almost like a dart throw. Like Jiang looked really good as far as like fluidity.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's so raw, so I'm not too worried about him. I
Right.
like Jalen Williams, the Santa Barbara Jalen Williams. I like more than the Arkansas.
All right, I'm
Stress
gonna I'm
the Bama.
gonna toss this one over to you. I know there's a couple guys that you like here. Not sure about him. Just saw Dort got hurt last night. Not gonna be. Yeah, I don't think that's too serious. But we could take a look at that. I didn't hear anything too serious on that. A couple interesting names. Conley, Dort. I know Claxton. We've got four
Yeah,
bigs.
I would go. Oh man, I would probably go Dort over Conley. There's Jalen Williams.
Fultz. To Jaden McDaniels. That's a name I want to remember later. Yeah.
We don't
What do
need
you
it.
What do you want,
Guard right
Dort?
now, do we? Yeah, let's go Dort. Yeah, Let's go Dort. I like Dort. I like what he did without Shea, in games last year. Obviously, no Chet, so it's like there's still going to
Yeah,
be a lot of usage to
and
be
two,
had.
I
He's kind of
think
one of
the thing is what you were talking about too. Like a lot of guys that are like really fun and interesting rotationally. I mean, obviously we're really late in the draft, so like the silver linings for players and the reasons you pick them, start to matter less because they're so late. But yeah, I think Dort too. Like, yes, I like a lot of the young guys, but from a rotational standpoint, more likely than not, even guys that you like in the preseason, don't have massive impacts on what we've already seen from current rotation guys, especially with a team like the Thunder. Like, if it was Chet was already there and, Giddey and Shea was 100% healthy, it's less exciting of a pick. But, man, if Shea misses, more games at the start of the season people are anticipating, like it's a lot more of an interesting pick.
Yeah, I mean, Dort becomes the second, maybe even top scorer shooter on that team because I mean, Giddey's not a score first guy, and
and that's all you need, right? Like all you need in a best ball format with like these later guys is just like realistic situations for offensive usage.
Yeah. We got 5 picks here. We got 5, 5, and 4. I mean, I don't know why I love Claxton so much. Claxton's still there. That'd be nice. Mark Williams is very interesting as well.
Yeah.
I wouldn't hate taking a little gamble on him, but we already have.
If I felt like I saw a realistic opportunity for him to like score.
Yeah, I mean that's the nice thing though, right? It's like you don't really need him to, as long as he can rebound the ball and play defense at this ADP. Like give me 9 to 11 rebounds and 2 blocks with he can trip into 4 buckets.
I mean,
Stu.
Yeah, dude. I've been liking taking McDaniels later a lot. Yeah, Linux.
Yeah, a lot of people are high on Jaden McDaniels, for good reason.
Fultz,
I don't know why.
Yeah, let me know. I'll throw up some names that I want to add to whatever you're thinking. McDaniels. We took Stu in the last one. I do like Stu a decent amount, but I think it's a little bit of a reach last picks here.
Yeah,
McDaniels is just the name I want in the rotation. You can put whatever other guys you want, and I'll let you make this pick. 15 seconds on the clock.
I'm looking at the list and not loving what I'm seeing, so I'll back that. Let's go McDaniels.
Take your guy.
Yeah, go get your guy.
Right, because I mean these names, right? If you're just looking at like ADPs, I think Jackson. There's a world that, but I don't know. Even last season, like I think even at this ADP is not like super excited what we saw with like the most realistic or the most ideal opportunity for fantasy. Norman Powell can play a lot with Kawhi's load management. Yeah, Powell's one of those guys too, where like I do think like in a best ball format, there's games where Powell will be, he will matter, and like have these kind of big blow up games. But
I do like Powell, I will say. I agree with what you're saying. I think with Kawhi being back, John Wall being in there, Reggie Jackson still there, Rocco, there are a lot of people there. But, I mean, given their injury history and Powell's just history of being such a spark and consistent guy off the bench, I still think he can be valuable, at least this late. Yeah. I don't think he's that risky.
Oh, no, yeah. So we might be able to get him, too. I mean, none of these other guards are super exciting. You got THT, Oladipo. Oladipo's interesting.
I really like that Jaden McDaniels pick.
Yeah, me too. That's why I made it.
That's why I freaking did it, dude.
I think Fultz is just kind of interesting because he just kind of feels like a discount Cole Anthony. Not from like a player perspective, but just like I know Cole Anthony goes.
Yeah, I mean he goes way sooner, especially now with the Suggs news. But
right, yeah. So I think my picks here, I probably would look at a Fultz. I know he's dealing with his own injury, but I think he'll be fine. At least
there's a lot of guys like really late that I think are interesting. It'd be fun to go like.
I think this is our last pick.
Be interesting to go like 20 to 30.
I want to go. I'd lean towards going guard.
Yeah,
just because some of these bigs I don't love from a best ball perspective. I think Kelly's interesting, but not
I think
fun.
It's just projected usage is probably what we should go. Either obviously upside, but
Yeah.
like obviously the person with the
What about
biggest role.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, sorry to cut you off, Judge. What about
Oh, you're
Poku with Chet out for the season? Yeah,
good.
I mean at this point in the draft, like I think there's names you could throw out where it's hard for me to make a case against, right? Because it's just kind of like, yeah, like that's
Flyers. Yeah.
he could, like Isaiah Stewart, he's shooting more threes. He could have decent scoring games. Bagley's out for significant amount of time, but I think it's just kind of
I can be the bad guy and say I don't like it. I don't like Poku. I think he was brought in, had some interesting hype around him, had that unicorn tag for a little bit. I think he had his chance, and I think they bring in three more guys, 3 to 4 more rookies that I think it's their turn to kind of see what they can do. So I think, if this is last year, maybe I'd say yeah, but I think if you have your chance as a guy, coming off the bench, especially with people getting hurt or like roles that need to be filled, then you can't really stand out too much. And now they bring in Jiang and Jalen Williams. I don't. I think I'd give like those rookies a bit more of a gamble than Poku. Not to say he's not going to play. I think he'll play, but I think as far as a team perspective, I think those other guys probably, are next in line to see what they can do. I think Poku
yeah.
got this run. It's also just a deep team. It's a deep team. It's a lot of like heavy rotation, a lot of split minutes. So there's other flyers I do, but like you said, Will, at this point, if that's your guy and you're like, no, I disagree, Canyon. I think Poku, finally this will be the time where he can step up. Then there's no harm in that. There's no consequence in the last pick.
Yeah,
really.
Precious is a bit of a sleeper. Yeah, that was a name scrolling down a little bit that I definitely would put in the conversation. I kind of just like Fultz here. Do you like Powell or even a Precious more?
Darius Bass is another guy I even think about. I do kind of like Precious. I think Fultz is good. I think Fultz is the by far the safest pick here.
Yeah,
and I don't hate that since we already have a couple rookies. Let's go Fultz.
I like the squad, man. I like the squad. All right, best ball guards are Harden, Fox, Trey Jones, Jaden Ivey, Lu Dort, Fultz. Wings, we got Scotty, probably our weakest position. I mean, Scotty was our first wing we took at 45.
Auto pick, one scramble pick.
Scotty, all right, just don't be nice. Scotty Barnes, RJ Barrett, Jabari Smith, Jalen Smith. But I do like our later picks. I mean, Jaden McDaniels, Smith, the Jabari as well. Yeah, made up for it. And then our bigs. I guess there was an argument to potentially the riskiest part of our team, but you only have to play one big the way that your roster set up from like scoring. It's 2 and 2, so it's like 2 guards, 2 wings, a big, and then it's flex. So on a week to week basis, Zion, AD, Nurk, I feel pretty good about like those 3 being a part of that.
One being able to play.
Right,
someone tying their shoelaces.
I feel good about one of those players being active for the games that week.
Slipping on some socks. Please, someone tie the laces tonight.
Oh, jeez. Nice draft, boyos. Have a good night. Hey, you too. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Much love, and if you guys want to draft with us, I'll move this really quick and take a look at the roster. But use code Canyon. Shout out to Canyon. Use code Canyon gets you 100% deposit match.
100%. Wait,
up
really?
To $100.
How much? So you get $100 for free using code Canyon? Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Love the stream. Hey, appreciate it. Thank you guys. The stream, we've said this before. Streams wouldn't matter as much without you guys. So appreciate you guys hanging in here. Much love. Looking forward to doing these. I want to say this for the people in the chat. We're going to be, we're definitely going to do one or two more of these drafts before the season on Underdog, one of these best balls. But in season, alongside the videos we'll be making about, waivers. I mean, waivers. I'm not trying to sell ourselves. Waivers probably one of the most important parts of fantasy basketball. Honestly, it's just like that's just essential in leagues. We'll be making videos obviously throughout the season. We'll also be doing some recap streams talking about the games kind of like the slate of games. We're doing some player prop stuff on the Flock Sports Betting channel. Who do you think will win the chip this year? Oh, all right. I'm gonna eliminate Pistons from the conversation. We're Pistons fans, and
my turn. I'll eliminate the Rockets. Go ahead. You eliminate.
No, not gonna eliminate one. I think.
Give me Philly.
I think the obvious teams. I think there's like obvious contenders. I think Brooklyn to me is still a contender. I know they kind of feel like they're in a weird space. I do think Philly.
Give me Philly. I think it's time. Time for Harden, Embiid.
They wouldn't be my favorite team to win from like a fan standpoint.
No, not really, but I don't know. I like Philly.
I do really like Philly, dude. With Max, he looks so good. Another year with Harden, Embiid. Dude, when Tobias Harris is going to be like your fourth best scoring option, like you're chilling.
Bench depth too. Good defensive rotational depth. Like I think they check a lot of the boxes. I think Clippers got a good shot if healthy. Yeah, I mean obviously Clippers are stacked. If they can stay healthy, they're going to be.
I think
Memphis. Ooh,
Memphis, I like a lot. I think Minnesota is going to be like the nastiest regular season team that is just not going to perform in the playoffs. I think they're going to be the worst one seed. Not the worst, but I don't know. Don't they just feel like a team that's just going to have an insane regular season record, and then we're going to get to the playoffs, we're going to be like, man,
Minnesota?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I like Ant a lot. It's just kind of like Rudy. I think Rudy's a good addition. But I think, like, man, it's hard because I really like D'Lo, but I just can't get excited about D'Lo, man, anymore. Yeah, no. I can't do it.
I think they need a better.
Dude, PJ Tucker's super underrated pickup for sure. I mean, imagine just getting another Thibault that's going to shoot better from three. Like that's what PJ Tucker is. That's nice.
And just an absolute dog. You can just unleash to just change the whole momentum of the game. Like just mentally as like a veteran and defend, like he just all the little things, the mental part of the game he helps with stuff that's not on the stat sheet.
Yeah.
I mean every team he's been on, it's been like, he helped the Bucks go pretty far, he helped the Heat go pretty far, he helped the Rockets go far back with Harden,
Yeah.
Like he's a part of winning culture.
You just have to say the Warriors, man. Like they have to be a part of the conversation. That's a good shout, Sella. Like I don't know how you look at just what they do every single year. Like I don't know, man. When you have Steph, if Wiggins plays like he did, in the playoffs, obviously, I think that is a big key. Obviously, they dealt with injuries in regular season last season.
Draymond will be interesting.
I still feel like Boston. I don't know. Did you think that Boston was going to win, or did you feel like Boston was the better team, but that the Warriors just like out championshiped them?
If I started watching the NBA the last 4 years, yes, I would have said Boston. But because of just watching Warriors be the winning team for the past decade. It was just in my head, like, this is going to be another Warriors win. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What do you think of the Poole and Wiggins extension? I think here's what I'll say. I think that I don't want to like diss people, but I think casual NBA and NFL tends to call everything an overpay. But I think when you look at, and it looks like, I think from like you compare it to other contracts, it feels like an overpay. But for me, I think the question I would ask is what dollar amount are you letting Wiggins and Poole go, right?
Yeah.
So, like, when you think about extensions, I think people need to think in that space. To take a pay cut, right, yeah. I love the meme of when they were just, like, off. Dude, they were just off, at, like, the celebration. And they're, like, laughing at each other. And people are like, dude, they know they're getting the bag.
Yeah.
Poole's interesting, man. If Poole was a better defender, I would have been like, stop calling this an overpay.
I know. It's 140, right? 140 mil 4 years. Is that right?
Yes.
That's a lot.
It is, yeah.
I'm a Michigan fan, and I don't love it.
Dude, yeah, I mean, he's young and good, and I think he's like, you just look at that roster, and they need him. Like, who else is like rotational guard is going to do what Poole does,
I mean, yeah. that's a future move, right?
Yes.
Clay
Yeah.
injury wise, who knows where he'll be. Steph, I mean, the nice thing with Steph is
It
like no matter how
it
old he is,
makes
his game will
Draymond
be.
really interesting next year, right? Like I think it's going to
Yeah,
be an
how
interesting
much so that like
conversation.
they probably argue about it so
That's
much
probably
so.
why Trey. No. We'll stop it. Yo, anyway, great chatting. Hope you keep the stream. Yeah, definitely. We're going to be doing, like I mentioned earlier, we'll do a couple more of these draft streams before the season starts. But in season, we're looking to do recap streams alongside like the normal fantasy content we'll put out, waiver stuff, updated rankings
Yeah.
and everything. So looking
Yep.
forward to it. Should be fun. But yeah, appreciate you guys watching. Kenyon, any parting words before I look at this best ball roster again and get sad that I auto picked RJ
Um,
Barrett?
Go blue, big win today. Also, sorry, Roll Tide, but Tennessee's on top now. Sorry to all my Bama fans out there. I don't like Bama. Go blue. Get your lineup set. Make sure to check out Fantasy Football Flock for your lineups this weekend for NFL for tomorrow. And yeah, appreciate everybody for watching, hanging out in the chat, all that fun stuff.
Definitely. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out, guys. Much love. Go Canes. Yeah. See you guys.